Reimagining Success, episode 39. You're listening to Reimagining Success, the podcast where we help you reimagine your future, designing a life and career beyond the 9 to 5 that allows you the freedom, flexibility and fulfillment that you've been dreaming of. I'm your host, Anna Lundberg. Now, let's get started on those dreams. Hello there and welcome back as we continue to explore the whole process of leaving the corporate 9 to 5 and setting up to work for yourself. Now, when considering a change of career or lifestyle like this, we tend to focus on ourselves, and that's pretty natural because it's about us, after all. It's our own choices we're looking at, it's our own dreams we're trying to fulfill. So we've been looking at those fears, fear of failure, getting out of our comfort zone, how to feel more comfortable and so on. However, it's important to recognise that this upheaval that comes with a big career change and lifestyle change doesn't just affect us as the individual, but it actually has repercussions for the people who are around us as well. And the people around us may not be as enthusiastic about our decisions as we are. So at the start of the process, when you're especially full of doubts and concerns, right at the beginning, you may have made this decision tentatively, but you're still, let's face it, worried about money. You have that fear of it not working out, and you're not sure if you are entrepreneurial, is this going to work, and so on. In this early stage, the last thing you want is to have those fears being played back at you from everyone around you. So the question I want to look at today is, what can you do when faced with objections from your friends and family? So the first thing to realise is that it's not about you. It's not you, it's them. As the standard dating excuse goes, it's not you, it's me. Other people's concerns aren't just that, it's their concerns. So the fact that someone else believes you can't do this, they think you'll be ruining your career forever, they worry that you won't earn enough money, none of this is in any way a reflection of your actual capabilities or the fate that awaits you if you do leave your job. So the fact that someone else believes you can't do it doesn't have any bearing on whether or not you can do it. So this is all about their comfort zone, their fears of the unknown, and their own hesitation to do what you're about to do. Now, you also want to ask yourself who these other people are, because, of course, it really matters if these are important people or people you really don't need to worry about at all. So are the objections coming from close friends and family? Or are they coming from acquaintances and sort of distant colleagues who you barely know? Because if it's the latter, then they really don't know you well. So they definitely have no idea whether or not you can do this. And also on the other side, you don't need to care about what they think. However, if it's the former, if it is really close friends and family, then it's important to recognise that it is usually coming from a good place. So they care about what happens to you because they care about you. And while it may come across as a lack of faith in your abilities, a way of effectively holding you back from going after your dreams, try to give them the benefit of the doubt and understand that they really want what's best for you. So this is the first tip, really, to recognise it's not about you. It is about them. It's coming from a good place. And again, filter out who it is who is voicing these concerns and if it really is something you need to pay attention to at all. Now, the second thing is to protect yourself. Now, it's very, very easy to get excited about all your new ideas and your plans for massive change. And we want to tell everyone what we're up to. Oh, I'm going to go traveling. I'm going to write this. I'm going to move. I'm going to do X, Y, Z. But don't do that. At least not right at the beginning. First, because it will come as a big shock to people if it's completely out of the blue like that. And second, because your ideas and plans are likely to change many times over before you settle on what you really want to do. So if you tell everyone and anyone who will listen each time you have a new idea, you're going to come across as being really wishy-washy, flaky and unsure of yourself. And that's just going to invite them to make their concerns and objections even louder because you clearly don't know what you're doing since you keep flipping and flopping and changing your mind. So if one day you want to build a freelance business, the next you're thinking, no, actually, I want to take some time off and I'm going to go to Bali, no, I'm going to go to Brazil, and et cetera, they're going to begin to doubt that you actually do know what you're doing. And again, they're just going to get more and more concerned about you. So don't tell everybody what you're up to right at the beginning. Instead, you want to take some time to incubate your ideas. Think of it as a startup incubator. So, as we said last week, if you missed last week's episode, then pop back and listen to that after this one. We talked about the very first step in the process of getting out of your comfort zone, planning how you're going to escape the corporate 9 to 5, and that is exploration. So give yourself that time to explore, to reflect, to get out of your usual environment, to learn about yourself, who you are, what you enjoy, stripping away all that learned behavior and everything that you've sort of picked up along the way through school, through education, through work, and even just take some time off to clear your head. Then, once you have a specific goal in mind, and still it might change, that's okay, it might evolve, it probably will. But if you've crystallized the path you're going to take, if you have the first few steps lined up, then you can start sharing your project with carefully chosen people, mind you, who are important to you. So again, don't necessarily go around willy-nilly telling anybody you meet on the street, but make sure you're telling people whose opinions matter to you, and to start then sharing, I've actually decided this is how I feel, and this is my plan going forward. Of course, yes, I am concerned about this, but I've checked my finances. I mean, it's up to you how much you share. If it's someone very close to you, of course, you can be very open about it. If not, you can just state very clearly and simply, this is what I'm doing, boom, done. And the more clarity and conviction you have that you're on the right path, the more confidently you're going to be able to defend yourself against those other people's concerns. Or again, depending on who those other people are, you'll be able to ignore them altogether. So that's the second tip in terms of incubating your ideas, protecting yourself from these opinions. Just don't expose yourself to those opinions. In fact, another way to protect yourself is, again, to get away from that environment, as we said, to maybe go traveling for a bit or go off on a 1-week course or something, whatever it is, but try to get away from those people who perhaps are bringing you down with their negativity. Having said all this, the third thing is to get these people on board. Now, this is assuming that we're talking about people who do matter to you, close friends, parents, your partner, then their opinions and support really are important. So as much as I can tell you to ignore them and remind yourself that they're really well-intentioned, hearing those objections over and over again and again is likely to wear you down over time. And if you're not careful, they'll continue to reinforce your own fears and concerns, which again, never go away, unfortunately, completely, until you eventually abandon your plans and you shrink back into your comfort zone. So once you've had that incubation period, once you've developed a bit more clarity on what you want to do and how you're going to do it, it's going to be really important to get these people on board, especially, of course, if it's someone who is directly affected by your career and salary. So if it's dependents, perhaps older children, maybe don't explain it to your toddler, although why not? Certainly your partner, if, your finances are very much intertwined, if you're paying off a mortgage or rent together, and of course that very much affects them if you're going to be living a very different lifestyle. Or alternatively, maybe they're involved in your plan somehow. So maybe you're going to be asking your parents or some friends if you can stay with them while you figure things out. Then you really do want them to support you. You can't, sort of ignore their opinions and then expect them to look after you and to play an important role in the process. Now, they may still and probably will still have doubts, but if you manage to convince them that you've thought about this thoroughly, this really is what you want, they will at least hopefully try to keep their objections to themselves and allow you to focus on your plan. So why not, in fact, really explicitly ask them, I'd really appreciate support. I understand this is a bit of a surprise to you maybe, but it's important to me to explore this. Don't worry, I'm being very careful. Give me this chance and let me explore this and see how it goes. Then finally, as much as you can ease the concerns of your friends and family, and they hopefully then let you get on with what you're doing, the reality is that they are still very much anchored in their own comfort zones and in your world, your own comfort zone. They may not be the right people to guide you, mentor you, empathise with you even as you explore this whole new world, whether it's entrepreneurialism, location independence and travel, or whatever other so-called unconventional lifestyles that you're now considering. So again, however well-meaning they might be, they can't necessarily provide you with the really tangible support that you're going to need now on this new path. So this is why I always stress how crucial it is to go out, find new people who can fill that gap. So these are people who are out there pushing the limits of their own comfort zones, trying to find a way to make a living and a life outside of the confines of the corporate 9-to-5 and doing their best to fulfill their biggest dreams. So it might be a general community of people who are working on exciting goals or leaving their jobs, if there's a group that's specifically for quitting your job, or starting your own business, different entrepreneurial groups. Perhaps specifically you want to write a book, and there are lots of groups and podcasts and things you can immerse yourself in for people who are already out there. Writing books, of course, are events and so on. So if you can find these people, if you can find that tribe, as it were, then you will have an incredible support network that will understand what you're going through this process. Because again, there are ups and downs, there are fears, concerns, things won't always go as planned. They'll also be able to cheer you on when you're feeling down. And again, there are those ups and downs, and you'll very much need people who will make you feel better and keep you motivated through those downs. And then also celebrate with you as you experience success. Hooray! And of course, I do want to give a plug here for my own Facebook group. The One Step Outside Facebook group is a great place to start to find this tribe. So again, to recap, the different points I think hopefully will help you with overcoming those objections from your friends and family. So first of all, recognizing that it's not about you. It is their concerns, their comfort zone. And if they are important in your life, then they are people who care about you. So do understand that it is coming from a very good place that is well-intentioned. Second, protect yourself. So incubate your ideas until you have a more crystallized, more clear plan to share, again, with carefully chosen people who will hopefully then get on board, because the second one is in fact to get them on board. Once you've incubated your idea, once you have a bit of a plan, then you can start sharing that with those important people. So close friends, parents, your partner, and whoever it is that you feel you want to share your plans with. But getting them on board is incredibly important. Having that support will be vital. And then finally, because unfortunately your friends and family can't necessarily provide every aspect of the support that you're going to need and guidance and so on as you move forward into this very new space, and because it's always great to get out of your comfort zone, of course, get out of your usual environment, meet different people, learn new things and so on, it's really crucial that you go out there and find a new community, again, go to events, sign up to a course, join an online group and so on. And as I said, my One Step Outside Facebook group is a great place to start. So remember at the end of all this, ultimately, that this is your life, because you're the one who's going to live with the consequences of your decision, either of staying stuck where you are, dreaming of what's outside and doing nothing about it, or taking the risk and making the change. So in either case, you're the one who's going to live with whatever happens. You're the one who's paying the bills, presumably. This is your life. So it's really up to you to make this decision. And that's both incredibly empowering, of course, and a little bit terrifying at the same time. But don't worry, that's why I'm here. And we'll be continuing to look at this, of course, in the coming weeks. And again, I'll give that plug for the One Step Outside Facebook group. Join us over there to find your tribe. You'll get access to live training sessions, other resources that will help you get the guidance and support that you need to make this escape from the 9-to-5 work for you once and for all. So thank you so much for listening. I hope this has been an interesting episode. It's something that came from the community, in fact. So if you ever have any questions or topics that you'd like me to cover, then get in touch at podcast@onestepoutside.com. That's podcast@onestepoutside.com. So again, it's not all about you. Your choices are actually affecting other people. So even though it is your life, your decisions, you may and probably will want to consider the people around you, but don't let that drag you down. Use it as a positive. Understand that they're really caring about you. It's coming from a good place. Try to get them on board as much as possible. And then let your actions show them that you know what you're doing, that this really is going to make incredible positive differences for you. And your success then will really shine brightly, and they'll see that you're doing what's right for you. And they will gradually come on board. I can guarantee that even the most risk-averse parents, friends will really admire you and look at the incredible changes you're making, and they'll come round in the end. They'll understand that you're doing what's right for you. So thanks so much for listening, and join me back here next week. Bye for now. Thanks for listening to Reimagining Success with Anna Lundberg. You can find my book, Leaving the Corporate 9-to-5, Stories from People Who've Done It and How You Can Too, in paperback and Kindle format on your local Amazon site. I hope it gives you both inspiration and concrete tips on how you can craft your own alternative career path. Happy reading!